record. Guys, thank you all for being here. This is really the first roundtable that we will have after the school starts. And I know that all of you have plenty that's going on. And we have a big crowd today. We have over 200 registered and 105 already in, which is unique. So it's exciting. Welcome back. It is great to have you. And it never ceases to amaze me how you guys will take an hour out of your what I know is a super busy day to come in and help each other work through some problems. So thank you so much, and we'll get on with the updates. Renee, can you see the slideshow? All right, very good. Well, welcome to the CTAT September 5th Roundtable. This is certainly a highlight of my month, is being able to get to work with you guys. And we are celebrating, for those of you that were at the summer conference, you probably remember the 25th anniversary of CTAT. So we're going to try to have different things throughout the year to help celebrate and recognize some people that have been around for a long time. We certainly appreciate all you guys, and happy birthday 25th to CTAT. Not catching Miss Goins yet, but still, that's a pretty good accomplishment. This is the 5th season of our statewide roundtable. And for those of you that are just joining it, this started as a COVID response, just updates. And it's been one of the best tools in CTE that we've had since I've been around that I can remember, because it gives everyone that monthly opportunity to get in here and share best practices and just get some questions answered by other members. And we appreciate you guys participating in it. And we love our state roundtable. We don't have a company sponsor for this month, but Robin said put that up there and said you can put your company name here, and hopefully somebody will see that on YouTube and splash it big. ICV and EduThings has already bought several months, and we have several more to sell if anyone wants it. I always like to start with a few memes, and September. I don't know why this one caught my eye, but this little girl thinking it's September and can we put up the Christmas tree now? I thought that was funny. And I don't know why, but there's something that's always funny about a squirrel standing on his hind legs and saying something inhuman. And of course, he's standing there saying, "Hello, September." And that tickles me, so I put it in there. And one of the new components that we have this year for the roundtable for season 5 is we're going to take a joke from a member. And this month's CTAT member joke was sent to me by Sergio Warita out in Seguin ISD. And Sergio said, "Well, what did the tree say to the autumn? What did the tree say to autumn?" Well, Sergio, I don't know. Leave me alone. Y'all are going to have to let that set in. And I'm probably like most of you, I'll laugh on my way home after about 30 minutes. Good one, Sergio. On this day by the way, if you have a joke that you'd like to send to be put onto the roundtable, you can upload that to my MySpace page and we'll get you on this month. And the winner gets a ticket at the upcoming winter conference. On this day in September 5th in 1836, Sam Houston was elected as the first president of the Republic of Texas, which is pretty impressive when you think about it. In 1960, on September 5th, Muhammad Ali, who used to be called Cassius Clay, won the gold medal in boxing at the Olympics in Rome. And the first man-made object to ever leave the solar system was launched in 1977, and that was NASA's Voyager 1 out there exploring the galaxy. Also, for birthdays, in 1939, George Lazenby was born, and he was actually the second James Bond who portrayed James Bond after Sean Connery, and he was on Her Majesty's Secret Service. And he has a really good special on Netflix if you've never seen it, called Lazenby. But he was only James Bond for one movie, but it was a pretty good one. And then in 1940, Raquel Welch was born, Jason. And I had to go through about 150 pictures of her to find this real good one to put on the uh, Zoom chat. But anyway, happy birthday to George Lazenby and Raquel Welch. And many of you that are a little bit older might remember that Sam Houston and Muhammad Ali and George Lazenby were the first announcers for Monday Night Football. So, kind of interesting trivia. But anyway, it sure is great to have everyone on here to the Zoom and working together in the career and technical education community in Texas. As always, we would certainly like to thank our board of directors. We do take pride in the fact that our programming is driven by our area presidents and our board of directors. And we want to take a minute out just to recognize those folks and say thank you, and to say thank you for the leadership that the area presidents provide out in the state. And CTAT just wouldn't happen without those two groups. Thank you guys very much. Also, if you're interested, if you're new to CTAT and you would like to learn about the ins and outs, assessing the platforms, if your email maybe has issues, staying updated through social media, learning about the different professional learning, liability insurance, well, there's going to be a CTAT membership 101 held tomorrow, September 6th, from 10 to 10:30 a.m. And you can register for that on the CTAT website. If this is your first one, then we'd like to remind you about some of the programming that we do at CTAT. Of course, as always, driven by the board and the area presidents. The Next Gen Administrators is coming up, and we'll talk about that in a minute. We always have the monthly roundtables like we're on now. The professional conferences like we do each winter and each summer. This year's winter conference will be held in San Antonio at the Grand Hyatt, which was a big hit last year. Well, also, if you need in-district professional development, that's one of our favorite things to do is come out to your districts and do in-district professional development. We do program evaluations. The fall really only has a couple of spots left. So if you'd like a program evaluation, you can email me at mark@ctat.org or chelsea@ctat.org. We will provide MOA support if you need that. You can email chelsea@ctat.org for that. And we're going to talk a little bit about our area outreach trainings that we mirror after many of the organizations that are in the state, such as CTAT. And we'll get into those in just a second. About 5 years ago, when we were going, when we first started the roundtables, well, the board of directors reached out and said, hey, we're having so many instructional coaches, coordinators, specialists that are coming into the district, and they need some training to get caught up. And so we started what we call the Next Gen Administrative Group, and we are on, I cannot believe it, cohort 5. And this group meets the third Thursday of every month. Our first meeting this year is September 19th at 1:30 p.m. We go over all the CTE essentials, and then the rest of the content is really driven by the members based on what they want to hear about and what they learn. But most of all, it's a fantastic networking experience for new administrators, 0 to 5 years. And we're just excited about it. We were telling the area presidents on a meeting just a minute ago, it's turned out, of course, we didn't know this going into it, their CTAT staff or the board, but these Next Gen members have really turned out to be the leadership in CTAT. They're on the board, they're serving as area officers, they're doing presentations across the state, they're doing regional trainings. It's hard to conceive us being able to do the programming we do without the Next Gen graduates that we have. So if you'd like to be a part of this well-established group, we would love to have you, and you can register for that at ctat.org. I will like to talk a little bit about the area outreach trainings that we have coming up. And we'll kind of hit those one at a time since this is our first meeting back since September. Campus CTE coach training is probably one of the ones that I'm most excited about. And we're going to do that 3 times. Once in the Woodlands, October 1st, in Birdville at the CTE Center in North Richland Hills on October 24th, October 30th, we're going to be in Wichita Falls at City View High School. Thank you, Miles Van. And then in March of 2025, we're going to be in El Paso. And we appreciate our El Paso members working with us, and Region 19 Service Center out there helping to make this possible and get this pulled off. One thing about campus CTE coach training is I always like to tell is when this training was conceived, our thought was, we have so many teachers that are leaving the field. Well, how can we get them support? And so the question came up, well, when you have a struggling or new CTE teacher, where are they most likely to turn for help? Probably not going to be the education agency, probably not CTAT. As well as the service centers do, they're probably not going to be the first call of a new teacher. District CTE staff, they're probably not even going to reach out to the administrators or even their campus administrators. The most likely place a struggling teacher is to seek help is going to be from a nearby colleague down the hall. And so the thought behind this training is to assign a skilled resource where the teachers will make use of it. And we think this is going to be hopefully revolutionary, and we will train a platoon of resources that'll be out in the state. Our goal is to get one campus CTE coach per secondary campus in Texas. The format is going to be frequently asked questions. And so when your campus coaches leave there, they're going to have an incredible resource of frequently asked questions and answers that they can use to provide support to new and struggling and inexperienced teachers. We're extremely excited about it. Another big initiative of CTAT is we have so many teachers coming into the state now that didn't go through teacher education programs. And maybe they went through alternative certification, maybe their district of innovation. But whatever the case is, they are not being indoctrined into the importance of CTSOs. And I can't even imagine teaching without a CTSO. I became a teacher because of a CTSO, and I know many of you are the same way. But it seems for whatever reason in Texas, CTSOs are not being seen with the same importance by teachers and even some newer administrators that they have been in the past. And so CTAT came up with this summit to promote CTSOs. You will hear from every career and technical student organization. 9 will be there. TEA will be there to talk about the new CTSOs. And it's where a new teacher can go to learn. If you're a new administrator and you want to hear more about CTSOs you don't have, if you're a superintendent and you want these youth organizations to be prominent in your district, it's a place for superintendents to go learn about it. Anybody that wants to hear more about all CTSOs or a CTSO in particular, this is the place to come and learn and get your questions answered. We have to start making these CTSOs certainly more important. Every time we see a CTSO, we think about student success, and we want to make sure that students have the opportunity to access these programs. Even if it's just at the classroom level, it's incredibly important to career and technical education. As always, probably the most popular area outreach training that we do is the CTE plus finance plus PEAMS that we do with TASBO. October 8th and the 9th, we're going to be in Abilene. And then in March 2025, we'll do that again, and it'll be in one of the more bigger areas, Houston, Dallas, Austin, one of the bigger areas. So we're going to try to do an outreach for every year. We're going to try to do one in one of the big major areas of the state, and one as an outreach training. Also, an idea that came from the area officers will be campus plus CT, campus administration plus CT administration will come and train together. And if you're having trouble not necessarily working, but getting the duty spread out between CTE, who's responsible for what, where the questions should go, who approves what, well, CTE plus campus admin training may be a great place for you to come and work and do a lot of planning and a lot of team building with your campus administration. So hopefully that'll be a great one and a great asset to members. And that will be in Allen in February 25th. Also, don't forget that this is a unique year because December 4th through the 7th, ACT will host its national convention in San Antonio at the Hyatt, where we're having the winter conference. But this is a chance for you to go to the ACT national conference without having to leave the state and going to Las Vegas or Florida or something that doesn't look good on your board report. So if you get a chance, we'd love to see your vision. I know that a lot of people from Texas have submitted presentations, and it's going to be a great event. You can register for any of the events that we just discussed by going to the CTAT.org events page and just learning more and registering there. I'll talk just a few seconds about advocacy. Our legislative task force worked 2 or 3 times during the summer. And again, they met in August. And so we have been working with the different groups in order to meet with legislators. And we've already had 2 meetings. Robin has lined us up, and Chelsea and I and Robin and Ray Piancett with the Ag Teachers Association, we've been meeting with legislators already, trying to get a heads up on what's going to happen in Texas during the next legislative session that begins in January. As it gets closer and we know which members are on which committees, we will grab some of you guys that where you actually can speak to your representative, and we'll have you go to the Capitol with us if you're available. Also, Marcette sent an email out clarifying on the CTE chat, the open forum. There's been questions floating around for a few days saying, can a CTE student in DAEP claim contact hours, or can they be funding? And of course, it's very clear in the SAW, CTE contact hours must not be claimed for more when a student's out more than 5 consecutive days if the same amount and type of CTE services are not provided by a certified CTE teacher. So just like we always recommend to folks who called us, probably the safe route there is to have that funding turned off. And as I understand it, if Skyward is your student information management system, then it's going to turn that off automatically. But if you want to read this more closely, I have posted this information in this email from Marcette in the open forum. And thank you to Marcette for providing that clarity. The TEA folks monitor, and we appreciate them doing that. Also, this brings us to the important updates for the CTE Roundtable, and that's always time for Chelsea Reeves and her positivity. For those of you that don't know, Chelsea Reeves has a beautiful little dog named Jasper Tweed that she'll talk to you about anytime you want to talk to it. But Chelsea, if you don't mind, just take it away.
So JT is currently sleeping at my feet because anytime Mark Boshier starts droning on, he curls up in a ball because Uncle Mark's talking and it lulls him right to sleep. No, I'm not raising a hyena. I'm raising a medium ultra Bernedoodle, and I will justify photos of how cute he is compared to that terrible photo that Mark is very proud of photoshopping. Thank you, Mark. That's scary. Okay. But you didn't come to learn about JT. You came to learn about important updates. So here we go. First and foremost, we're going to kick it off with, if this is your very first roundtable, welcome. And hopefully you received your very first CTAT chat, which is a great opportunity to review each month. And my very, very favorite part of the CTAT chat is one of the first things that's listed, and that's that to-do list each month. We highly, highly recommend that you go through that. It's not an exhaustive list, but this is a really good overall high quality list that provides you some to-dos, some resources, some don't forgets, and it's definitely something that keeps you on track. So make sure to check that out. Next up, TEA has provided some additional resources on their CTE Programs of Study landing page. If you are in the work of redoing your student handbook or your course selection guide or getting things ready for even next school year, TEA has posted some additional resources, so be sure to check those out, and especially share that information with your counseling staff, with PEEMs, with any pertinent members of your school community that need that information. We also have a little bit of update from performance reporting. The 2024 underlying accountability subset data is available in Teal. This entire message and communication of what this is and how you can access it is located in your September CTAT chat newsletter. Mark did a great job of going over the CTAT outreach trainings. This is also listed in the newsletter, so if you just need a quick reference for different dates and registration links, but please, you're invited to come learn, influence, engage, and grow with us, and we're super excited to see you there. And also save the date. We can't wait to see you at CTAT Winter Leadership Conference 2025. Pretty soon we'll be sending out call for proposals and presentations. We just can't wait to see your excellence shine through, and we can't wait to see the great things that are happening across the state. And as always, it's so good to get together in fellowship and connection and peer support. And it truly is the best of the best of events when we get together for our winter and summer leadership conferences. I'm going to turn it back over to Mark, and he's going to finish up with these last 3 items before we go into Slack. So Mark, back to you.
Well, thank you, Chelsea. And just keep in mind that if you looked at the CTAT chat, you could see that the United States Presidential Scholars Program, and they give one specifically for a career tech student. So make sure that you get on there, and those applications are due October 4th. As a past winner, I can certainly assure you that it's worth every second of it. And then for our CTE in the news, we want to recognize Pine Tree ISD and Jacob Lusk and his teachers and students there. What a great showing they had at the Skills USA competition. It'd take us a day to go through all the ribbons and achievements and winners they had, but congratulations to Jacob and the folks at Pine Tree ISD. And also our spotlight for the Region Service Center this year was Heather Blunt out in the Region 7. And Heather partnered with South Plains Workforce Solutions and Texas Workforce Commission and the Lubbock Economic Development Alliance to provide the South Plains Teacher and Counselor Externship Program. And I was able to look through some pictures that Heather sent, and it really looked like an incredible experience, and one that could probably be mirrored in a lot of different areas in the state. Heather, that's terrific work. Appreciate all that you do, and congratulations on being the ESC Spotlight. And we're going to stop sharing here and get back out into gallery mode and see if anyone has any questions.
Mark, we got a great question in the chat from Julie Fisher. It says, what's the best source to learn what ballpark costs are for implementing and sustaining various programs of study? And then there's ranges such as 25,000, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, etc. I have probably 10 areas to explore, and she's only received 1 response in the forum so far. So any feedback for Julie?
And Julie, I have some old, when I say old, probably 15 years old, that TEA used to put out a comprehensive list of what was needed for all of the CTE programs as far as equipment. The thing is very few people open up with the extensive list. And I think Amy Massey was doing some research, and I sent that to her. And so if you would like that, I can send it to you to give an idea. Anyone else have any comments on how they would ballpark the price? And Julie, I'm assuming you're talking about after teacher salary, right?
Hey, I'm curious to learn from maybe our ESC specialist. It's my understanding that they're going to be rolling out program of study guides. And within those program of study guides, there was originally thought to be some pricing components or like these are best practices and models like that. Have you guys heard anything in addition from TEA about that specifically? And then if not, maybe that's something that we can communicate that there's a request for a need there. And so that way we can have that information readily available.
They haven't mentioned that, Chelsea.
Miss
Unless
Edenfield,
one of my other colleagues is.
Miss Edenfield, will you start holding your nose right now, waiting on those documents to come out? Miss Fisher, did you have something specifically that you could ask for?
Well, we're looking at the firefighter program. I'm sorry, I've got two things going on. The firefighter program and the construction, welding, culinary, cosmetology, EMT. Just really looking to expand our programs of study, and don't even have a clue where to start for some of the pricing information or even what the baseline equipment is.
Miss Fisher, what district are you at?
Terrell.
I'm interested to hear other people's recommendation. What my recommendation would be to you is to develop a task force for each program of study and have them go and visit other districts that have those programs, and for them to build a list of equipment that they need and then get a price list. And that's something, Chelsea, I think we could put on the CTAT resources page, would be at like facilities and stuff like that. So that'd be a great opportunity to start storing that information.
So I have a couple of ways that you could potentially go at this. One, I apologize if you've already put it on the CTAT form, but that would be one way, is to put that question out there, because we get a lot of information that way across the state. But two, reaching out to your service center. Here in 7, if we have a district that reaches out to us for specific program of study resources, we typically know what schools are offering those, and we can connect you with those people who can then give you a better example of the estimated amount of funds that they're utilizing in their budgets each year for those programs.
That's
Thank you.
Carrie, that's a great point. And because it might keep them from having to put some miles on the tires if they could.
And let me add what I think Carrie and I unmuted at the same time, but let me add to what Carrie's saying. What we also did was just a Google form from the service center and sent it out to our school districts and said what programs of study that you offer. You know, the teachers, we have all of our teachers on a Google Classroom, but then from there, we inventoried our teachers to say, what vendors do you use? How much? Who's your contact? That way, as Carrie said, they're just learning from each other and networking. That's the best way that we have found. That's the fastest, most effective way so far. And then from that, we just start an Excel document and a Google sheet that we keep up with.
Yeah, great point, Miss Harris. Thank you. And Miss Fisher, only thing I would stress is don't try to do that all on your own. Break that up into committees and let them go. And if you guys have never seen this mapping application that the TEA has put out, well, you can click right here on this mapping application, and after a few minutes, it'll pull up a big map of the state of Texas. And if you want an architecture and construction program, well, you can click on architecture and construction down there and let it generate a little bit, and then go get you a cup of coffee, and you can actually zoom in and you can see where the programs of study are in the state, and they'll actually bring up each individual program of study, and that's all on that mapping application. You can see it populating now. So go up here to Carrie and Kimberly's ESC. We can pull that up right there. If you were looking at construction, you can click on that, and you can see that Chapel Hill has a construction program right close to you. So that's another tool that you could possibly use, and that might help you in your area as well. Thank you guys for saying that. Miss
And then-
Fisher, does that get you started?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much for that input.
And
And then
Ted
we've also
Mackey,
got some, oh,
Yeah.
go ahead, Mark.
well, I was just gonna say that Ted Mackey put into the chat, that Ted Mackey is on the ball in case y'all didn't know. He put in the chat about the Kentucky Department of Education has, and I've used this actually before. It's actually very, and it's very generic too. So it probably just something to get you started. Megan Martinez put in there that a great presentation from somewhere near Waco that recently built new facilities. Yeah, I mean, there's resources. It's like Carrie and Kimberly were saying, there's resources all over the place. And I think there's a lot of help out there. And the closer you can stay to home, probably the less expensive you'll be putting that information together.
Well, and Mark, if whenever we start to work on a project, our architects usually have something that they've done with other districts, and so they can pull pricing from that. That won't give you the recurring costs, right, for keeping it up and going with supplies, but they can usually get you a pretty good one. So, I mean, every district is different. If you've got an architect that you've worked with before, they might be able to help out, or if you are building facilities, put them to work on that. They need to figure that out.
And an architect should have an engineer hired that should be able to help you with that. But in saying that, I think Sherry will be the first one to tell you, don't rely on that alone. Do your own homework. Michael Buffkin said, Michael, are you on?
Yes, sir.
Uh,
I can talk. I can talk about perplexity for a second.
Yeah, what is perplexity?
Perplexity is
Perplex me.
Perplexity is an AI search generator. It's based on academic. It's meant to copy academic papers, so it can't give an output that it doesn't have a source for. So if you give a query that's kind of related to what you're looking for, you may not get exactly. This is a very detailed, kind of nuanced item, but it'll tell you where it pulls the information from, and you can kind of go down the rabbit hole there. It's really helpful for finding sources that you normally wouldn't find.
Yeah, I never would have thought of that on my own, but AI probably spit out a lot of stuff on it, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't want to go GPT because it's not grounded, but Perplexity is different on how it's like search query works. Just play with it. I use it all the time just to find a starting point.
And Michael, put that Perplexity link in the chat too, if you want to pull it. Thank you, Michael. All right, what else do we have? Any other good topics?
Mark, I got something maybe, I don't know if y'all find this interesting, but I was looking through EduThings customers, like as it relates to the program of study refresh with the health science merging of programs of study. And so as you might expect, since there's more common courses between the two, you will end up with more concentrators, right? So not every district, but like half the districts that I looked at had a 5% increase in concentrators or more, and an average of 10% across all the districts we work with. So it's looking like it's going to have an impact on who concentrates. That doesn't necessarily translate into CCMR points, though. Most of the districts already were doing a good job in that the students who were earning certifications were already concentrators in whatever program of study. So you'll have, like, I guess, if your certifications stay constant, then you'll just have a higher concentration of concentrators without certifications for the most part. There were a few districts, like I forget, like 10% of them or 15% of them, who did show an increase in CCMR points due to that.
Well, and to your point, Sammy, this year with the IBC earners having to be concentrators, that's going to make a huge difference. And so that's good news, because we should increase by about 10% over what we were thinking. Sammy, is your information that you're pulling from districts, EduThing accounts, is that more recent than what they would have on their CETA reports?
I looked, I don't know for sure, but what I looked at was the 2023-24 graduating class, and basically said if we assume that they kept the same amount of certifications and just had access to the new programs of study for health science, what would that change? So just looked at the most recent graduating class against the refreshed programs of study. Only for health science, though. I didn't look through all of it.
Thank you, Sammy. That's good info. Anybody have any comments or questions to Sammy? That was a good data point.
Hey, Sammy, this is Sergio over here at Seguin ISD. If you could reach out to me, I tried calling, interested in the middle school interest inventory and PGP. So I know we're working together over there in El Paso, but give me a call when you get a chance so we could set up a meeting and then we could discuss.
Absolutely. I'll give you a call right after we're done here.
Don't go
And,
eat lunch with him, Sammy.
I will expect a karaoke song before we start our chat. So
if you go eat lunch with Servio, you're going to get patted down.
100%, yes.
All right, fantastic. Anyone else have another topic or a point to bring up? I noticed that our CTAT this year's president, Dr. Martin McClure, gout specialist, has entered the room. Dr. McClure, is there anything you'd like to share with the group while you're on here?
No, thanks for calling me out, for coming in late.
No, we're happy to have you.
It's good to see everybody, though.
Yep. Miss Goins was bragging on you before we started recording.
I was going to text you and let you know that Mark was really giving Cleburne football a hard time. I needed some backup in here.
I was bragging on him.
Bragging, okay.
You know, today's Miss Goins' birthday, too.
We found that out.
Yeah.
39.
Yes.
I thought she was 29. Sorry.
No, 39.
29 is just what she's telling everybody. Dr. McClure, thank you for all that you do for CTAT and for the leadership that you give. We really appreciate it. Okay, anyone else? Well, we're going to ask for one more call. And if you don't have any questions, we're going to go to the Slack. Jason, nothing from East Texas?
We've got, we're big on celebrating Manufacturing Day, and that's always the first Friday of October. And so that's right around the corner. So most of y'all know years ago, our store, we did a half a day of that, and then it turned into a whole month. And so throughout the month of October, we partner with area businesses, industry partners, and take our kids to their companies and place of business, and let our kids be exposed to those opportunities and resources that's related to robotics, engineering, pharmacy tech, and what have you. Anything that our companies want to partner with, we backflow it into our programs and make field trips for it.
And y'all have a big kickoff day there at the Mount Pleasant Fairgrounds, right?
No.
Where is it?
Our kickoff's at our Ag Center, actually, is where we started off, and then we start that morning, then we go out to the companies that day, and then we take a break, and then we come back again and have another big run of it after we have a fall break in October as well. And so it's tough to pencil all this in the month of October.
Well, we focused on that in a chat newsletter last year. So if you want to go back to the archives, it really is a pretty special event. And it's really something, again, like we were talking about what Heather and them did with the externships, is something that could be mirrored anywhere in the state. So thank you. Jason,
If
for doing
if
it.
anybody wants to come up, let us know. We'll be glad to have you.
Free lunch.
Sure.
All right. Well, fantastic. It was great. Do any of the area presidents want to talk about their first meeting? Brooks, when's y'all's first meeting? Y'all have a big area.
We actually have ours tomorrow. So if you're in the neighborhood and want to come on down to Texas City, come on down.
Texas City. Fantastic. Hurricane proof, right? Okay. Well, thank you all for coming. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and we'll post what we have on YouTube. I think this is fantastic. Appreciate all you guys coming in and working and helping each other out. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Mark. And if you could, are you going to share that PowerPoint with everybody? Presentation?